It had been months since Captain Ethan Drake and his crew had been stranded on the barren planet of Kelvora. A mining expedition gone wrong, an unexpected solar flare, and the ensuing crash of their transport ship had left them with nothing but the ruins of a dead planet. The atmosphere was too thin to breathe without suits, the landscape nothing but frozen tundra and jagged mountains. Supplies were running low, and their distress beacon had long gone unanswered. The cold was unbearable. Ethan had spent the better part of the day in the engine room, trying to restart the ship's engines so they could make a final attempt to contact the Galactic Rescue Team. The ship's communication array was severely damaged, and all their efforts to restore it had failed. Time was running out. The crew was tired, hungry, and demoralized, and it seemed like the cold would claim them first. But then something changed. As Ethan stood in the engine room, he heard a faint knock on the hull of the ship, followed by a soft, pleading voice from outside. "Please, I beg you. Let me in. I am freezing. I'll reward you, promise." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. No one could survive the freezing temperatures outside without specialized equipment. He had assumed there were no other survivors. No one else was supposed to be on this remote world. Was it a trick? A hallucination brought on by the harsh environment? But the voice, soft and desperate, rang true. He moved quickly to the airlock, grabbing a thermal scanner to check for any life signs outside. The scanner beeped, confirming the presence of a single life form. "No way," Ethan muttered under his breath. He pressed the button to open the airlock, the thick metal door sliding open with a hiss. There, standing at the entrance, was a woman. She wasn't human. Her skin was a deep shade of indigo, and her long, flowing hair shimmered with an ethereal, bioluminescent glow. Her eyes were wide and pleading, their violet hue glowing softly in the dim light. Her delicate features were drawn with exhaustion, but there was an unmistakable beauty in the way she held herself. "I'm freezing," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Please let me in." Ethan's mind raced. She wasn't just any alien. The markings on her body indicated that she was from the Thalian race, a species known for their advanced technology and telepathic abilities. They were a mysterious race, shrouded in secrecy, and the Galactic Council had often warned of their unpredictable nature. But here she was, standing before him, vulnerable and in need of help. Without thinking, Ethan stepped forward and helped her inside. She stumbled, clearly weak from the cold, but managed to steady herself against the ship's wall. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling as the warmth of the ship enveloped her. "I didn't think anyone would be here." Ethan quickly moved to activate the heat panels and provided her with a blanket. He didn't know what to make of the situation. She was an alien, and despite her apparent weakness, there was something about her that exuded power. The Thalians were known for their telepathic abilities, and they could read minds and manipulate emotions if they chose to. But there was no time to dwell on the mysteries of her species. Right now, she was just another life in danger, and he had to help. "What are you doing on this planet?" Ethan asked, his voice tinged with suspicion. "This place isn't safe." The woman looked at him with a small smile, though her eyes betrayed her exhaustion. I came here to escape from a war. My people, my race, has been in conflict for years, and I needed to find refuge. I didn't know this planet was uninhabited." She paused, as if gathering her thoughts. "I knew no one would come for me, but I had to try." Ethan's curiosity piqued. "A war? With whom?" I can't tell you that," she said softly. "It's too dangerous, but I can offer you something in return for your kindness. My people, we have the power to—" Before she could finish, Ethan interrupted. "I don't need your promises. We're stranded here, just trying to survive." Her eyes darkened for a moment, as if she had been expecting that answer. But then, to his surprise, She reached out with her hand and placed it on his wrist. I don't want to be a burden, she said. But I can help you. I can get you off this planet. Ethan looked at her skeptically. How? The ship's been damaged beyond repair. I can fix it, she said simply, her tone confident. My people have advanced technology. I can help you contact your rescue team. You won't have to die here. You and your crew can leave. I can promise you that. Ethan's heart pounded. Was she for real? Could she actually help them? He stood still for a moment, torn between caution and the possibility of salvation. Then he remembered the desperate situation his crew was in. He couldn't afford to be picky. All right, he said, finally nodding. Do it. If you can help us, I'll do whatever it takes to get you off this planet. The alien woman smiled, a glimmer of relief crossing her face. Thank you, Ethan. You won't regret this. Over the next few hours, Ethan watched as the alien woman, whose name he learned was Saris, worked her magic. She spoke softly to the ship's damaged systems, her hands moving over the consoles with a strange grace. She didn't need tools, or even the ship's manuals. It was as if she could understand the ship's very soul. The ship's engines hummed back to life, and the communication systems were restored. Within moments, a signal was sent, and they were in contact with the Galactic Council's rescue team. As the connection established, Saris looked over at Ethan. I told you I could help. I promised. He smiled, grateful, but a little wary of the strange woman who had saved them. You've done more than I could have hoped for, he said. But there's one thing I still don't understand. She raised an eyebrow. What is it? Why help us? You're a Thalian. You're powerful. Why do you need to hide here, on this desolate planet? Saris's gaze grew distant for a moment. Because, she said quietly, there's no place for me in my own galaxy anymore. I've seen too much, and what I'm running from isn't just a war. It's something worse. I'm no longer welcome among my people. Ethan didn't press her for more details. She had given them what they needed, and that was enough. For now. The rescue team arrived within hours, and as the crew members boarded the ship, they marveled at the sudden repairs and the restored systems. They had all been certain they were going to die on this cold, lonely planet. But now, thanks to Saris, they were going home. As the ship lifted off and began its journey back to civilization, Ethan looked at Saris one last time. What happens now? He asked. What do you want? Saris smiled, her eyes holding a glimmer of something far older than she appeared. I've done what I promised. Now, I will find my place in this galaxy, somewhere far away from the chaos of my past. But don't worry, Ethan. One day, you'll hear of me again. And with that, the ship soared into the stars, leaving the frozen world behind. For Ethan, the promise of an alien woman was more than just a saving grace. It was the beginning of an unexpected adventure into the unknown.